in the Foxtrot cohort, and today I'm gonna walk you through one of the most fundamental models in cybersecurity defense, which is the cyber kill chain. So we use this model to understand, anticipate, and ultimately stop cyber attacks by breaking them into phases. Okay, let's look at our agenda today. So we're gonna start with a little introduction on the cyber kill chain, so what it comes from and what it aims to do. Then we look at its objectives and break down each of the 7 key stages. And then we're gonna wrap it up, prepare a short interactive quiz in order to make some things interesting, so we can apply, what we learn, and then we'll finish with reference and question, okay? Okay, so the cyber kill chain is a model developed in 2011 by Lockheed Martin as a part of an intelligence-driven defense strategy. So it's a step-by-step model that maps out how cyber attacks unfold, from the planning to the execution. And by understanding all the 7 stages, defenders gain greater visibility into the attacker's behavior and tactics. And in this way, they can identify where and how to intervene. So Lockheed Martin identified 7 stages, as I said before, but someone like CrowdStrike, some association, proposed an 8th phase called the evolution. I'm gonna briefly do that later, okay? Overall, in general, the kill chain helps us to detect and disrupt attacks early, protect the sensitive data, and block unauthorized access. There are several objectives the model that explain why the model is so valuable. First, it helps understand the attacker's process, encouraging analysts to think like attackers in order to better anticipate them. It improves detection and prevention, especially during the early phases like reconnaissance and the delivery. It enables proactive defense, so by stopping an attack before major damage is done. It also supports incident response, offering a structured way to analyze what happened and where our defenses failed. By consequence, it helps to strengthen threat intelligence and helps organizations prioritize their cybersecurity resources more effectively. So these are the main objectives for this model. Okay. So as I said, 7 stages, some said 8, but the first stage is the reconnaissance. So here the attacker gathers as much information as possible using open source intelligence, social engineering, scanning tools to understand the target system and its potential weaknesses. In the weaponization phase, the attackers build a payload, typically in the form of a malware. And then the payload is then transmitted to the target in the delivery stage, 3rd stage. And this delivery might happen via phishing email, malicious link, or an infected USB device. So delivery basically is the first point at which defenders can realistically detect and stop the attack. Then we have the 4th stage, exploitation. So exploitation is where the malicious code is the trigger, often by exploiting a vulnerability like an outdated application or unpatched software. In installation phase, the malware sets up shop on the target system and often installs machine for persistence, such as registry changes or rootkits. Then in command and control stage, the attacker opens communication with the infected machine in order to allow the attacker remote control, in order to help him exfiltrate data or deliver further payloads. And then we have finally the action and objectives. Last stage, where the attackers have accomplished his goal, whether it's stealing data, sabotaging systems, or conducting espionage. And of course, the longer the attackers stay undetected, the more severe is the damage that it can cause to the system. As I said, some like CrowdStrike thinks there is also an eighth phase, which is evolution. Over the past 15 years, cyber threats have become more sophisticated, advanced, targeted, and evasive. Attackers, in fact, can conduct deep research to bypass defensive tools, and with the zero-day vulnerabilities, there's often no time to catch before exploitation. So this is why frameworks like the cyber kill chain need to evolve in order to account for the constantly shifting threat landscape. Okay, I put this picture to summarize all the stages. If you have any questions about any stages, you can ask me now, or we can move on to the interact phase, the interactive quiz, so we can put in practice. No? Everything's clear? Okay. So, let's do this interactive quiz. You can use the chat, you can use the, let me see if I can see the chat. You can use the chat, you can turn on your microphone and just give me the answer. So, let's see if you can tell me which phase of the cyber kill chain every question represents. Okay, so the scenario is the cyber criminal group, which is planning to attack a large financial company. So if this cyber criminal group creates a PDF with a hidden malware playload that will execute once open, which phase do you think it is? Someone said weaponization. Luca, Isaiah, that's correct. Good job. It's weaponization. Okay. Question number 2. The attackers use LinkedIn and open source tools to gather data about the company's IT infrastructure and employees. Which phase would it be? There's no option here. You need to remember the phases and you need to tell me which one is it. That's correct. Reconnaissance. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Lucas. Okay, question 3. The infected PDF is emailed to a finance employee pretending to be a vendor invoice. Which phase would that be? Delivery, correct. Thank you, Lucas, Jose, Calpesh. Then we have, if the malware installed on the victim machine ensures it runs even after a reboot, that means that we are in which phase? Yes, installation. Number 5, the employee opens the attachment triggering a vulnerability in Adobe Reader. Which phase is this one? Exploitation. Yes, exploitation. Thank you guys for participating. Number 6, the malware contacts a remote server to receive introduction. Which phase would that be? Command and control. Great. Thank you. And last one, the attackers use their access to steal sensitive data and transfer money, which is the remaining section. Yes, action and objective. Thank you. Okay, great. It seems like you got all of them. Okay, next, well, this is our reference that we used to do the PowerPoint presentation. Still, you can also check on them in the future, in the following 8 weeks, if you need like a refresh of what the cyber kill chain is. If you forgot some steps or you want just to, you know, dive deeper into the kill chain model and real world case studies. And that will be the end of the cyber kill chain. Anybody have some questions?
Yeah, hi Nikita, I have one question.
Yes.
Like when you like took over like throughout the cyber kill chain, so from an organization point of view, so you usually fail to detect when is that specific stage when the organization usually fail to detect the threats. So where
Sorry,
it can be
I'm
done.
hearing you very badly. What? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sorry, I was just increase the volume. So like during the walkthrough of which stage of the cyber kill chain when usually an organization fails to detect the threat.
So basically, it's the delivery stage, is the first point of which defenders can realistically detect and try to stop the attack.
It's like during the delivery stage because we are like not aware of it, how the attack is coming. So it's the initial stage due to that exact reason you think.
Yes, because basically in the delivery stage, the payload of the criminal groups is transmitted to the target. So in that moment, you see which payload the criminal group used and how it sent to transmitted to the target. And then in this way, you can see what kind of vulnerability the attackers exploit and how you can fix them.
So later on, then we will analyze that according to the patch which is available for the vulnerability.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
No problem. So in the chat, they ask in which cases we should judge to use the cyber kill chain or on a unified kill chain framework. Well, that's a good question, Lieutenant.
Sorry, let me read the question real quick. I'm actually not familiar with the unified kill chain framework. Lucas, what is that? Thank you. I'll look more into that and I'll get you an answer. It's good stuff.
Let me see if I can look into it very quickly so I can give you maybe if there is any main difference between the two of them.
Yeah, my computer's still loading the page. Great piece of gear here. Since my computer isn't being very cooperative, for those who can pull that up, would you find that the unified kill chain has similar sections to the attack framework, MITRE's attack framework?
So it does say that on the internet, not that website, but in general, that the unified kill chain is its purpose is to extend and unify the cyber kill chain and the MITRE attack framework to provide a more complete picture of the attacker's behavior. And it presents 18 phases grouped into 3 objectives. So as people in the chat said, it's more in depth.
Perfect.
And it requires, it's more complex than the cyber kill chain, and it requires more technical knowledge to implement effectively. But if somebody wants to do that during their own RFI, more than welcome, I guess. Okay, guys, so that would be it for the cyber kill chain. Does anybody have any questions?